the messages and stuff. Oh, there's Steph.
Hi.
Hey.
And my kind of Steph?
Yep.
Uh-huh. Hello. Are we... Now, where were the thingies pop up when people comment?
On the right-hand side, there should be like a thing that says private chat and comments. Private chat would be like just the three of us, and then comments will be anybody watching.
Are you in full screen mode?
Yes. Well, no,
okay,
I'm not in full screen. It had a thingy.
Okay.
Oh,
did
hi,
you find
everybody,
it?
If anybody's on. Figuring things out. Yeah, I found it.
Okay.
Let me...
Do I do show comments on stage or do I click them?
I think you click them. I'll make a comment just so you can see.
I'm sending one.
Oh, there's one.
Okay.
And then if you click on it, it will like show it as a banner at the bottom. And then you just click it again and it'll go away.
There it goes. Okay. Nice. Thanks. All right. Hi, everybody. I'm Kristen. I'm from the Never Ending TBR in Kristen's Corner. Welcome to my first live. And I have my friends. Sock, you can start us off, and then Steph.
Hi, I'm Sock Marionette, but my channel is Bargain Counter Argument. That's the big excitement from me.
I am Stephanie. I go by Steph. My channel is My Kind of Steph over here on YouTube and also on Instagram.
So these are my friends from different book communities, but kind of the same communities. Steph, I don't know if you're part of any of B's stuff.
I am not,
read romance?
I don't read much historical romance. No. In fact, I don't really read any. The only thing I read was Bridgerton. So, I don't know. I need to dabble more in it, but I struggle with a lot of like the older historical romances.
Yeah. And then Sock I know from B's channel. And
yeah.
Sock's been nice enough to have me on her channel. And Steph has had me on her channel as co-hosts and like guest hosts. So I'm glad that you guys were able to hop on.
Yeah.
Thanks for inviting us.
What does
we're gonna figure? Well, they're gonna help me figure things out as I go. What?
Well, I don't know if this is the kind of thing you want. Do you want some feedback or?
After, if you want to. This is how I used to do my lives when I used to do my Mary Kay stuff.
Okay.
But I used to do it through Zoom. So I kind of would like get to know everybody, whatever, and then whatever I was jumping into, I'd jump into.
Okay. Yeah.
So we can jump into sprints and then come back at 1:30 for me.
What is everybody reading?
Yes, what are people reading?
Oh, I have to find mine so you guys can go for it.
Well, I have.
Do you know what you're reading?
I'm not sure yet. I'm making a choice between continuing with this Alexis Hall book or starting this nonfiction book called Cults Like Us, which is due back at the library the day after tomorrow, but it's short. Because I mean, like, about a quarter of it is like end notes and footnotes and stuff like that, because it's one of those. So I just haven't decided whether I'm going to read this one or that one.
I'm having
Gotcha.
my Libby holds control my
How about you,
month kind of
Steph?
thing right now because I'm just behind on all my Libby holds. So I'm reading. I only have like an hour left of With a Vengeance by Riley Sager left to read, so I'm gonna be working on that.
Is that new?
Mm-hmm.
How are you
Okay,
liking that? Yeah.
I haven't read that one yet.
I will say I'm fairly disappointed by it so far. It's probably my least favorite Riley Sager.
Oh no. That's a bummer. Right.
My least favorite
I
was...
am hoping to get through. Your least favorite was what?
Home Before Dark.
That's my favorite.
That's what I'm reading now.
Oh, really? My favorite was Lock Every Door.
Yeah, I like that one.
I liked that one.
I liked how she thought she was in a Judith Krantz novel, but she was really in Rosemary's Baby.
Yeah, I normally like his, but this is the only one that I just haven't vibed with. I don't know. I just like, it's like kind of like the 1-by-1 trope where they're getting picked off and they're stuck on a train and they're getting picked off one by one. But I don't like a single character, so like I'm not rooting for anybody. They can all get picked off and I wouldn't care.
well, maybe that's the thing. That can be the big suspense. Are they all going to die? Oh please, oh please, oh please.
I hope so. No, that's terrible to say, but like I really like it. Just there's not a single character that I'm vibing with or rooting for. The main character is I just don't like any of them. So that's I think where I'm struggling with it.
All right. I'm going to try and get through my 2 chapters because I got this as an arc. My Wife, the Serial Killer by H.J. Garbett. I'm having a hard time vibing with it, but I wanted to get through it because it was one of my first through NetGalley. But I didn't know that it was in the UK, and it's part like the point of view is the serial killer, which is the wife, but she's learning how to do it, so she's kind of like Dexter, but she's not clever enough yet. And then the other point of view is her husband, who's a detective, but he's kind of fumbling along too. So I'm like, I don't like either of you. And it starts off where she took out her neighbor that was annoying her and how she disposed of him and things like that. And then her husband is the detective that gets put on the case. And it would sound interesting, but it's so that British humor, very slow. And I'm like, okay, let's move it along. And then I'm listening to Home Before Dark. And she's my third female main character that is she's a brat. Like I've read 3 books in a row where they're just very entitled and they expect everything to just be handed to them. And then they're put in these situations and they don't know how to go about it. And I'm like, and I'm frustrated that her dad is no longer with her. And there wasn't a bunch of stuff before you jumped into this project that you're into. Like there aren't any notes. There is nothing left from the time that you guys left the house to your dad's passing. I'm getting frustrated with it. So, and I'm halfway through.
I remember you mentioned that yesterday.
So those are my 2 books. I'm trying to get through.
Yesterday during the sprints I was hosting, you mentioned that you weren't vibing with My Wife, the Serial Killer, but you didn't specify. But you did specify about your frustration with your recent female main characters. Well,
like last month, I had strong women that knew who they were and what they wanted, and
Mm-hmm.
I'm not getting it this month. Hey, hi, I don't know which cover it was though. Was it my
The
my
pink one, I
serial
think.
killer lady?
I like that cover too. It's unfortunate
Yeah.
the book's not good, but the cover's cute.
And that's what drew me to it. Yes. All right. So to do the banners, I go over to banner and then create banner. Do you want to just go to 45 now? That I've been,
Yeah, that's fine.
yeah. I am so not used to top. I'm so used to my devices, and that's been my hardest thing with trying StreamYard, because I tried it with my friend Bunny the other day, and it's a lot like Zoom, but it has other things that I'm still like, what does that do? And then I've been having connectivity issues, so all right. Did it go? Show.
There it goes.
All right. All right, guys. We'll see you in about a half hour.
Sounds good.
Okay. There's no graceful way to come back. So if it scared anybody and you're still here,
You can be like me and use the cat timer that scares me every time it goes off.
and it goes meow.
Makes me jump
This
every
was
time,
I
even
was
when I know
on
it's coming.
Sarah the bookish. Yeah. Sarah from the Bookish Knitter, she came back on with Stormy, and it was at the part of Home Before Dark where she saw the dark figure in the woods, and they came in whispering instead of, hey, how's everybody? So they're like, how'd everybody do it? I jumped out of my skin. I screamed, and my little brother was like, what's the matter? I'm like, I'm just weird.
Just terrified by people whispering at me.
You're muted, hon. You're muted. Whoop. Did it go?
Okay, I think I'm back.
Yep.
Okay. Yeah, I muted myself independently. I don't know if you were there the other day in my sprints last week or the week before, where I forgot to mute myself during the sprint. And I made a phone call, and I was calling to get a book renewed, and I gave them my phone number so they could look up my account. And everybody in the comments is like, "Suck, you're not muted." So I went back and I edited that part out before I let the live stream be on YouTube. And I was like, it was so funny too, because at the same time when I made that call, I was also thinking of calling my lawyer and about a personal matter. So I was like, oh, well, at least it was, some people had an opportunity. And then Paige comes back. Paige was in the stream, generally speaking, but she wasn't there at that moment. And she's like, what did I miss? And I said, the opportunity to get my phone number. I have
my full name, and you're doing good.
That was a half hour that we were doing that?
Mm-hmm.
Nice. I ended up reading the Cults book.
How do you like it?
Yeah.
Well, it's
well, it's got lots of footnotes and citations and stuff like that, so it's semi-scholarly. She's not an academic, and that there's no problem with that. I don't, It's just that at one point she's talking about how in the early aughts she was in an improv group, and I'm like, oh, that explains the jokes that don't quite land and why there are so many of them in a semi-serious work. But, there's some stuff. That was like what I studied American religion when that's what this is about. Cults like us, why doomsday thinking drives America. And I studied that in undergraduate and graduate school, religion and American society. And there's always something new I can learn, so that's good.
How about you, Steph?
I made a little bit of progress in my book, but the dogs decided they wanted to go outside, so mostly I just took the dogs outside.
I just saw somebody getting into the fridge behind you.
Okay, there it goes. My stepmom came in. Yeah, my stepmom just got home from work. So I muted it so I could let her know, hey, we're on the interwebs. Mine, I still don't like the serial killer that's in it, because her cover-up story is that she's trying to be a good neighbor. So she went to the one neighbor that has a ring, and she went and she broke the camera and then offered to walk the dog so that she had a reason to keep checking in with the busybody of the neighborhood. And as she goes for a walk, she's going through all the things that she could have done wrong. She drops off the dog, and her neighbor's like, "Hey, you're missing an earring." And I'm like, "How did you not notice for the last 6 days that your earring's missing?"
Well, for 6 days.
So there's that, and then the detective. Oh, I skipped. Man, Streamyard's not being nice to me today. I just have the circle of death. Okay, I'm back. So yeah. But I figured if you guys are available and you want to do another half hour, and then I'll sign off just so that I can get my feet wet, and then I'm hoping to come back on Saturday morning. So.
Sounds good.
Or if you need to do something, I can do it, but I figured I'd just try and get used to all the buttons.
Yeah. That's unfortunately there's no way to like really practice it until you're just like live and doing it.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I was able to play with stuff, but I didn't have access to like the comments and stuff until I went live.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I could stick around. I'm good.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Okay, so what would be a half hour from now? Because it's math. So let's do 25. So it'd be 2:25 for me. Right? Ish.
Yep.
All
Close
right.
enough.
All right. Happy reading. Testing 1, 2, 3. Hello.
Hello.
All
I
right.
think I remembered to unmute myself this time.
I got half a blanket done.
Oh,
Oh, I love the
got
bees.
bees.
Yeah. I made 2 of these last night for the kitties.
Ooh. Oh, pretty.
Because I tend to do the laundry for the cat clinic. And I just feel like these types of blankets are more sanitary than some of the other ones that I clean. So, and I had to throw out a couple because I was like, I am not putting that in my washer.
Yeah, I imagine they get pretty dirty.
Yeah. So how'd you guys do?
Um,
Still?
well, nonfiction just goes so slowly compared to fiction.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I
It's
read
not
for
like
an
Savage
hour and I'm
Hearts?
only on page 50. But we're up to the Oneida community. Did you study that in school, Kristen? That was kind of your neck of the
If I
woods.
did, I don't remember.
Yeah, they were the ones who had like this, what do they call it? Communal marriage. This was in the 1840s, 50s, 60s, 70s. So during the middle of the Victorian era, they just decided they'd like just have this community where, well, theoretically everybody had sex with everybody, but the men were discouraged from, let's say, achieving completion.
I was going to say,
So,
was it a procreation kind of thing? Like, we're on
well,
this
they
new
didn't
land and
want
we
to
have to.
procreate because they had more sexual desire than they did have money. So they couldn't afford. They started off trying to grow orchards. Oneida, I went there. The community died out, but I mean, there are descendants, but it's somewhere near the Finger Lakes. It's not too far from Seneca
Okay.
Falls, rather. Yeah, because I went there one time when I was
I might have
staying in
drove
that part of New
through it,
York.
but I don't remember going there.
Yeah. Anyway, it's really interesting, the Oneida community and the Oneida Silverware Company. They started that as a way to make money. And we don't know everything there is to know about them because in the 40s, the 1940s, the Oneida Silverware Company had a dump truck full of archives from the community taken out in the middle of the night, taken to the town dump, and burned all the records.
Wow.
Well, because the guy who founded this whole community, like, really, really wanted to get with his sister or his sisters. Anyway, it was a whole thing. It was a whole thing. So even though I don't like this person's style, I still, it's interesting.
Mm. How about you, Steph?
I have 8 minutes left, but the train has come to a stop and there's still some people kicking around, so.
No. Yeah, I wanted to read that this month too.
Maybe it's just a me thing. I don't know. I just couldn't connect with a single character. And, like, the whole reasoning behind it just seemed a little ridiculous to me. And I don't really understand how this lady, like, took over an entire train. I don't get
You only got to read it to find out why there's a lady taking over a train.
Revenge.
It's in the title. Yeah, I am at, I think, 70% now of Home Before Dark. Lie 66. And the one of the things that she had thrown out magically showed up again. As well as I'm gonna have the sound of music stuck in my head by the time I'm done with this book. because like they'll come up with like the I am 16 going on 17 song, and then he'll stop mid song, and I'm still singing it in my head as I'm reading. So, but yeah, I got to the spooky parts, so I'm hoping that I like it better now that she's not such a brat. So we shall see, and I'll let you know because you both read it.
Right?
But
It's been a while since I've read it. I
read it like I
but...
think around the time it first came out or thereabouts.
Yeah, I loved Lock Every Door. That was really good. And I loved was it Final Girls that he wrote?
What?
I liked that one too. Was it Final Girls?
Was it Final Girls or Final Girls Support Group? Because there was one by Riley Sager and there was one by
Grady
Hendrix.
Grady
was,
Hendrix.
I think support group was
okay,
Grady.
yeah.
Mm-hmm. And I liked both of them. I
don't remember too much about them, but I do remember liking them both.
Mm.
Again, it's been a few years.
All right, ladies, I'm gonna close it out for today. Do you want to share anything you have going on for the rest of the week?
I am going to be hosting sprints tomorrow at 2 p.m. Eastern. So 11 a.m. where you are.
Mm-hmm.
Like 11 p.m. No, I don't think that's how that works. 11 a.m. where you are. So, and this morning I recorded, I cheated and did it this morning because that was when I felt like doing it. I recorded a bargain counter argument after hours.
Yay! I like those.
Which should be, I pretty much have it edited. I just need to do the music, and I'll probably have it go up on like Friday night or something like that because that's usually when I post those. I don't know. Or maybe Thursday night. I'll figure something out. I want to kind of, I'm not too stressed about it. I just I recorded it today because I felt like recording, and I edited it today because I felt like editing.
Nice.
That's what I've been doing all morning.
Yeah, it was so funny. I spent so much time not wanting to record, not wanting to be on camera, or at least not wanting to record. And then I'd be like lounging around at night and I think, I'm really in the mood to do some editing. And then I'd be like, but I have nothing to edit. So
yeah, I got spoiled because I had footage from especially my main channel. I had all my Philippine stuff. So when I actually had to start making content again, I was like, oh man, where am I going to go with this? How about you, Steph?
I should check out your main channel because I'd like to see that. If you've already posted the Philippine stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I'll send you the link.
Yeah, I liked watching all those
Appreciate
videos. It was really pretty there. I'd love to visit sometime.
My dad went there ages ago when he was still alive. I don't know what he's been up to since he died.
He went back.
He went back.
He had a good time.
On the beach.
He had a good time. He managed to get a sunburn on the tops of his feet, though, because it didn't, he didn't think of, having to put sunblock there. Because, that was really unpleasant.
Yeah, that sounds miserable. Having to walk with sunburnt feet.
Well, having to put on shoes, I mean. Fortunately, they had mostly, they were still, pink. They'd peeled and everything by the time he had to get on the plane, so.
Go ahead, Steph. I got to answer a question.
Sure. So, let's see, my channel. I've been filming and editing all morning. I've got my Goodreads challenge video done and my Kindle challenge video done. So those should be going up within the next week. I also have my final episode of my bookshop simulator playthrough that everyone has been bugging me for. So that's going up tomorrow.
Is My Kind of Stuff, is that the name of your channel?
Mm-hmm. So I do
where I can find you?
Books and games. Yep.
Awesome.
And I'll try and figure out how to edit it so that I can put your channels in the description. Because I didn't know who was able to join today.
Well, you just do it the way you'd edit any description.
Okay.
You know, you just
Yeah,
go to your
just in YouTube.
content page, go to live, and then there should be a little pencil for editing purposes.
Okay, cool. All right.
Because I've gone through and I've edited in like, well, no, actually, I don't know. I've edited lives that I did on Streamyard in YouTube. So yeah, that shouldn't be a
Yeah,
problem.
you can actually edit them while you're still live too, because I've done that before too, and like added people in as people joined. And
Oh, okay, cool. Good to
Yeah.
know.
It's nice to meet you, Steph.
yeah, nice to meet you too.
Yeah. Thank you for hopping on.
No problem.
I plan on doing lives again on Saturday in the morning. I'll post in all the groups and everything. And then I have my part 2 of all the books I read last month because I got winded just talking about everything. And yeah, I really like doing this, so I'm glad that I finally did it. My goal was to do it for my anniversary, to do something new with the channel, and my anniversary came and went, as it does. So I'm really happy that we got to do it and that I'm getting a hang of it, because I feel that I do better reading and productivity when I have other people on, even if it's in the comments. So,
But that was my thinking yesterday, was like, I've got like weird little things to do and I want to do some reading too. And I was like, yeah, let me just see if I can round up some people to, you know, hang out with.
All right, ladies. Anything else before I hit end stream?
Nope.
No.
I
Night.
think so.
Okay, awkward wave.
Wait for 10 minutes while it logs off.
Hello?
It's the regal
I'm
wave.
hitting it. End stream. There we go. There.